This evening, I'm going to be talking about how having a regulated nervous system supports more powerful affirmative prayer. So, we're going to talk about affirmative prayer also because not everybody knows what it is. So, I'm going to begin, as I always do, with an invocation, and then we're going to dive in. So, thank you all for joining. So, I'm going to get my feet flat on the floor, and I'm going to take a breath. And then as I take a breath, we'll talk about why. Why why do I say take a breath? Why do we take a breath before affirmative prayer? So that's going to be part of the topic. So I'm breathing in the goodness of all there is, of God, universe, source. And I invite the presence of source, God, source, spirit to be with me this evening, to join us, to enter where you already abide and be in the midst of this conversation this evening. I'm grateful for everyone who is joining live, who will pop in to this live stream, and for those who will watch on the replay. And so I pray and know for each of us that we are perfect, whole, and complete, that each one of us is an individualized expression of the one, and that all is well, regardless of appearances. So I release this word with abundant joy and gratitude into the perfect law, which always says yes. I allow it to be so, and so it is. Amen. Alrighty, so my intention for this evening is that those who join live and those who catch the replay would understand that affirmative prayer can be even more effective when your nervous system is regulated. So I said at the top, and I'll repeat it again tonight, right now. My topic is how a regulated nervous system supports more effective affirmative prayer. But I'm also going to remind everyone I'm not pretending to be an expert in nervous system regulation. If this is something that you are interested in, I invite you to go and take a deeper dive, as I have been doing in it. I'm not a psychologist. I am an ordained minister, but nervous system regulation is something that has really helped me move the needle in my progress of feeling peaceful and centered and calm. I mean, in addition to prayer. So combining them together just makes each more powerful. Okay, so let's get into it. So this is a safe space. I'm not here to fix you or to tell you to fix yourself. You're perfect as you are right now in this moment. So let's learn something about our bodies and body, mind, and spirit, and how they can all work together. Okay, so nervous system basics. I think most people understand about the nervous system, but it's your body's command center. It is made up of your brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Your nervous system works by sending electrical signals between your brain and other systems of the body. These signals regulate thought, memory, learning, and feelings. So what I'm talking about is a tiny little basic overview of um, a mental health healing modality called polyvagal theory, which was developed by Stephen Porges, and it explains how the vagus nerve, which has two distinct pathways that shape how we respond to safety and danger. The ventral vagal pathway supports social engagement and calm when we feel safe. The dorsal vagal pathway triggers shutdown, numbness, and collapse when we're overwhelmed. This theory suggests that we move through a hierarchy. We seek social connection first, then fight or flight if threatened, and finally freeze, shut down if escape seems impossible. So, I have some notes here about. So you've probably heard about these two words sympathetic nervous system, which is fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And this is your active thinking stress response um, in your in your body. The parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest, and it's activated. It activates the vagus nerve, and that's when your body systems are operating optimally, and your body feels safe. Throughout the day, we toggle between these two modes. They're not different nervous systems; they're different modes, right? So the autonomic nervous system is all of the systems that we don't have to think about. Okay, you don't have to tell your body, please digest that hamburger that I just ate. And you don't have to tell your body, oh, I haven't blinked in a while. Could you do some blinking for me? Right? So, autonomic nervous system, it's the things that are done literally on autopilot. We walk around and we don't say, oh, geez, I forgot to digest my food. Your body's taking care of it. The somatic nervous system is everything else. So, there are two systems that are crossover between those two systems. That's the breath and the eyes. So you can breathe, you can go your entire life breathing and never direct your breath. It just happens, like I said, autonomically. But you can also direct your breathing. You can hold your breath. You can take long inhales and quick exhales and vice versa. There's all kinds of shenanigans you can do controlling your breath. Of course, swimming underwater, you're holding your breath. That's something you can either control or not control. But breath is an important aspect of polyvagal theory. It's an important aspect of regulating our nervous system. The other is the eyes. So again, your eyes just do what they will, or you can direct them. So the breath connects. Now this next section I learned from a coach. Her name is Brenda Winkle. It says the breath connects the subconscious to the conscious mind. So our subconscious is that part of ourself that sees and remembers everything that we have seen and experienced in our life. It's like our repository that we have access to. I don't know if we have direct access to it, but our subconscious mind is sort of like, if you think of it like a backpack, it goes with us everywhere we go. And we have, like I said, all of your thoughts, feelings, experiences, they're all stored in your subconscious. Okay. The conscious mind is the mind we're using right now to walk around and speak to each other and to interact with the world. We use our conscious mind. Okay. So the breath when we use our breath intentionally and mindfully, connects the subconscious to the conscious mind. When we activate the subconscious mind through the breath, we are telling the body we are safe. Conscious, intentional breaths signal safety to the body. So, I have been here, I've been involved in spirituality, spiritual growth, spiritual development for 30 years. And I remember in the beginning and, even in the past, like recent future, recent past, I should say, I would hear people say, oh, take a breath, let's breathe, I'd hear breath work. And I was like, what the heck? What are we doing? We're breathing anyway. What's breath work? And when I started learning about polyvagal theory, I learned that we do breath work because it signals safety to the body. Breath work helps to calm the body, calm your nerves, and tap into that sense of safety. And anyone who is dealing with any sort of level of trauma in their life knows that that sense of safety is essential. And people who deal with a lot of anxiety have difficulty accessing a sense of safety. So breath work, while I literally used to roll my eyes about it, now I understand the importance of breath work and the powerful work that it does. So your super conscious, higher mind, the aspect of ourselves that's connected to God's spirit source always says yes, right? That's the foundation of affirmative prayer. Each one of us is connected to each other and to the one source, right? So I'm sure you know that if you say whatever you say after the words I am, you're claiming for yourself. So if you say, I am broke, your higher mind says, all right, there you go. You're broke. It says yes. Um, but also the tricky part of this is if you say nothing at all and then you're moving through your days on autopilot, it will say yes to whatever the prevailing story your subconscious mind has been listening to. So if your vibe has been fearful, um, paranoid, any sort of low vibe, um, n- like not confident, um, worrying about finances, worrying about health, stressed about your job. If that's what's going on in your mind, then when you go to create, you're creating from that space of very low vibration. So when you have not purposefully and intentionally put these things in your mind, put the positive things that you would create, right? If you're not filling your mind with positivity and intentional, I mean, it doesn't have to all be positive. It's not all gumdrops and lollipops. That's not what I mean. Positive as opposed to negative, like as opposed to higher vibration thoughts and ideas, as opposed to lower vibration. Lower vibration would be anger, shame, guilt, worry. Those are low vibe thoughts. But your higher mind, your higher self, that self that is connected to all there is, right? It doesn't judge. It doesn't judge. So it's not going to say, oh, you know what? She's worried about that, but I don't think she wants more of that. It's going to say, if it's what's in your mind, if it's what you're dwelling on, it's going to say, oh, she wants more of that. He wants more of that. So it will could just continue to propagate whatever it is you've got in there unless you intentionally um, fill your subconscious mind with the things that you would create. So, again, so the nervous system decides whether you feel safe or threatened. A regulated nervous system feels present, receptive, and grounded. A dysregulated nervous system feels anxious, collapsed, and hypervigilant. So your nervous system doesn't respond to words because it's visceral. It's in your body. It responds to sensation, breath, and a sense of safety. Now, I should say your nervous system does respond to the energetics. So if somebody is calling you out of your name and saying terrible things about you, yeah, that's going to affect your nervous system, right? When I say your nervous system doesn't respond to words, what I'm saying is I can't just say, "Okay, nervous system, let's get it together." You have to signal that safety with your body. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. So, so we've talked about the nervous system and how polyvagal theory talks about the I'm losing my words right now. Hang on one second. I've got notes. Sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, right? We have the fight, flight, freeze, fawn, which is the sympathetic. We have the rest and digest, which is the sympathetic. I'm sorry, I just said it backwards. I said it backwards. Parasympathetic is rest and digest, and sympathetic is fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Um, so oftentimes, though, I'm going to tie this in now with affirmative prayer. And if anybody has any questions, or any comments or whatever, feel free to leave a comment. Anyway, so I'm going to now talk about affirmative prayer. So affirmative prayer, quickly in a nutshell, is prayer that affirms the truth of a situation as opposed to asking for something. Okay. I call traditional, like, Christian prayer is a beseeching prayer, right? So you're like, oh, dear Lord, please bring me XYZ, which presupposes that what you are praying to is outside of you. It's and it's something that you're trying to appeal to. Um, Affirmative prayer, on the other hand, is knowing the truth. So we are communicating from our conscious mind to our higher mind, which is in constant connection with spirit, source, God, universe, all there is. So when our nervous system is in a regulated state, then the signal strength of that communication is stronger. So when I'm talking about connecting nervous system regulation and affirmative prayer, we're moving from the mental, thinking about what we want, to the physical, which is in feeling it in our body. So if we're not careful, we can sometimes pray from our thinking mind rather than from our heart, right? So the way to tap into spirit, source, all these things, is to pray from the heart and to pray knowing that what we are praying about is already done. Affirmative prayer. We are affirming the thing. Um, so having a regulated nervous system allows you to feel more certainty, calm, expectancy, and ease. So going into a prayer feeling more certain and calm and grounded. So as I said at the very beginning, whenever I pray, like in public, like now, I always say, let's take a breath. So when we do that, it's like one of my colleagues, she always says, it helps us to move from getting here to being here, right? Taking a breath makes you stop, and it makes you focus on this present moment. And in this instance, because we're talking about nervous system regulation, if we dig a layer deeper and we do a longer exhale than we do inhale, then that can help to calm the body and provide all those benefits that I was talking about, right? The certainty, the calm expectancy, the ease, the cultivating a sense of safety, which again, if someone has dealt with traumatic experiences in their life, right? Um, taking a breath, just doing breath work really helps with, and I'm not saying that breath work is going to be a substitute for working with a licensed mental health professional. I'm not saying that. But there are things that you can do. I mean, if you're seeing a therapist, let's say you see a therapist twice a week. Well, you have the rest of the week other than those 2 hours you're spending with that therapist. So doing breath work can really support working with a licensed mental health professional in dealing with your trauma. So learning these breathing techniques and doing them with and before you begin affirmative prayer can help it be more effective. So I want to share a couple of practices that can help with regulating your nervous system. So there's a whole bunch of them. I don't want to overwhelm you. I just have two, actually three, um, practices. But I mean, we could be here all night talking about nervous system regulation practices. But I don't want to overwhelm you. I want to just give you a little bit of a appetizer, if you will, so that you can um, do a little research and dig into this and find out what things that you can do to help to regulate your nervous system and make your prayer more effective. So the first thing I'm going to offer is box breathing. And what that is, it's first of all, you want to I always make sure both feet are flat on the floor. And I just take a couple of breaths to center in. And then, so it's box breathing because you're breathing to the count of 4. And so the first part is inhale. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. It's difficult to do while I'm talking. So exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And then you just keep doing that. You want to do that. I did it way too fast. So just really settle in and do some box breathing, and you'll feel the difference in your physiology after doing maybe 3 rounds of it. I mean, I was walking my dog one time and something startling happened, and I felt my heart racing, and she was agitated, and I was trying to get back to the house. And then I stopped. I just stopped on the sidewalk and I held her leash and I just did some box breathing right there. And it completely shifted that state because there was adrenaline pumping in my body. And so it was making my skin feel tingly. And, but I just stopped and did that box breathing. And it was shocking to me how quickly it just settled me right down. That was just a minor little skirmish. I mean, you can use box breathing for anything. And there are many different examples of breath work that you can do, but I didn't want to overwhelm you with a lot of stuff. Another thing, and also to sort of add to the effectiveness of that is you'll often see I put my hands here. You can put your hand on your chest and the other hand on your belly when you do the box breathing. And, that is really helpful in, grounding. Get my feet back on the floor. In feeling grounded and centered and safe. Having my hand on my body is very powerful. It just chills you right out. And another one is havening. Pardon me. Havening is it's another way to settle your nervous system if you get startled. If, any sort of um, any kind of experience that sort of knocked you off, havening is good. And it's really a good practice to do in the morning too, to get you going before you dive into your day. And havening is basically so you're crossing the midline of your body with your hands, and you have your hands on your body, and then you just gently stroke your arms with your hands, and just breathe. Take longer exhale than inhale. So inhale. And just slow exhale and do that. Or you can gently do pats on your shoulders. And there's an added dimension to havening, which I talked earlier about. Your breath and your eyes are the two of the systems in your body that are both autonomic and somatic, right? So while you're doing this, you can take your eyeballs without moving your head. It's difficult. Every time I do it, my head sort of, keep your head straight and still and looking forward. And then look all the way to the left as far as you can look without moving your head. And then gently just roll your eyes forward and then look to the right. And then just do that gentle circuit, right to left, left to right, while you're doing this havening. And that is another way to get you back into the parasympathetic mode for your nervous system. And before before you pray, before you do anything, right? So the final one is co-regulation, which is the capacity to regulate your physiology through safe, trusted connections. And it speaks to the importance of community and safe spaces. So, co-regulation for me, so I have ADHD, and co-regulation is an essential part. I am part of a group, and we do co-working online twice a week. And now it might seem ridiculous, right? It's called in ADHD, it's called body doubling. And um, you know, one person is sort of leads it, and she has a timer. We do Pomodoro sessions, which is 25 minutes of sustained work, 5-minute rest. So we do 2 rounds of Pomodoros. And so there's a person who, opens up the live session. We all sort of type in there what we're going to work on, and she comes on to do a little chit chat, and then we set the timer for 25 minutes. Everyone is doing their writing or whatever. Some people fold laundry. But having other people, having access to and exposure to other people's nervous systems really can help you feel safe and help you feel settled. For me, it helps me to focus on my work and get my work done, because that's what I'm here for, is um to be productive, right? So in those sessions. So body doubling for me is co-regulation. And yeah, so that's really what I wanted to cover this evening, is really talking about how knowing about being able to tell when your nervous system is out of whack, when your nervous system is dysregulated. Out of whack is not a scientific term. um, and to be able to bring yourself back is a very powerful thing. It's a very powerful thing. It can make you feel um, like you're more resourced, like you're more, it can increase your confidence when you know that all you have to do is all you have to do is breathe. So if let's say you're standing in line at the bank, although, I don't go to the bank anymore. I do everything online. But as an example, for those things that you have to go to the bank for, you're standing in line at the bank and something's happening, you're getting agitated, you could just stand there and do box breathing. No one will know. And it doesn't matter if they know, but no one will know. You don't have to stand on your head or do anything weird. Just stand there, and so you notice, okay, I'm getting agitated. I'm getting annoyed. I feel like my time is being wasted. So you just you rein yourself in as if yourself were a toddler, rein yourself in, and then just do some box breathing. And that will help to bring you um, down and to get centered. And as far as affirmative prayer goes, I mean, doing, as I said, whenever I open, when I'm praying out loud, I'm praying in public, and I say, let's take a breath, what I'm saying is let's signal to our body that we are safe, that we are right here, right now, that we are tapping into this beautiful resource that we have in this physiology, that it keeps everything from being up here in the head and reminds us that, yes, we are definitely spirits in a body, but our body is a very, very important communication device. And without our bodies, we would just be floating around in the ether. So yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you all tonight, and I'm so grateful for you for joining me live, and yeah. So if anybody does anybody have any questions about what I talked about? If not, again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will be back on. I'm going to be joining next. I can't believe next week. Next week is February. Um, I'll be on a couple of different lives next week, which I should have had that information here. I'll put it in the little doobly doo underneath this video. But I'll be back again next Wednesday evening for Wisdom Wednesday. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that you have a beautiful evening. And I hope that the breath work and the little bit of information about nervous system regulation made you curious to find out more about polyvagal theory if you don't know about it. And yeah, so have a beautiful evening, and I will catch you next week. Peace.